Last time, on Safety in Numbers, the 6 remaining contestants were faced with a grueling double elimination. After Kathryn unwittingly helped vote herself out of the game, Grace was quickly proven to be on the wrong side of the numbers also. Tonight, who will be vulnerable, and who will ultimately leave the game after 2 epic blindsides? Find out right now on Safety in Numbers.
This tribal council specifically sucks, because now we're dealing with the consequences of our actions.
I know.
I really have to think about this one, because ultimately, like, my emotions today, following the double elimination, getting out Kathryn and Grace, I have not felt well today. Like, if it had been the girls, I would have known exactly how it was gonna go. It would have been the 2 and 2, and we could have tried to.
Because Grace said yesterday that her and Kathryn were thinking about doing something for the second vote yesterday. I still feel terrible about voting out Kathryn and Grace yesterday, but it had to be done. I know that they're probably going to be really mad on the jury. I doubt they're going to respect the move. They're probably just going to be mad, even though Grace told me and Meaghan that she was planning the same thing to do against me in the second vote.
See, now things get a little interesting, Ben, because now I have options. Before I didn't have any options. Before it was desperation, you could call it. Before I had 1 or 2 things I could do. Now I could vote anybody out if I really theoretically wanted to, depending on immunity.
Well, I mean, I have a plan, but like, if it doesn't go well, I'm out, and like, that's okay, because you know.
So do I stick with Meaghan? Or do I try to make some weird move and get rid of her now? I absolutely stick with Meaghan, because there's a few reasons. 1, I trust her more than anyone else left in the game, and when it comes down to the 3 people left and I need to trust somebody to either take me to the finals or I need to take someone to the finals that I know I can beat, that person is Meaghan.
I have to ask, who's the easiest person to vote out? Like, who's the easiest target and who's the most threatening target? And who do I want? Now I do think long term, now it's only 4 people left. Who do I realistically want to be final 2 with if it comes down to it, right?
Well, I'm really hoping that Kalle wins immunity tonight, because it will make my vote much easier overall, because then I won't have to even consider voting for her. I don't want to, but logically it would be better for me to get rid of her.
If I stick with Meaghan and don't try to eliminate her now, that can help me if I make it to the final tribal when I'm talking to the jury, because I did backstab a lot of the people in the jury and blindside them. So I think that if I can prove that I stayed loyal to one person, even though I betrayed other people, I can use that in my defense, and I wasn't just backstabbing every single person.
This vote, you have to think about who is going to be the 3 people left, and then you have to give yourself the most chances to go to the final 2. So it has to be, I win immunity, I'm in final 2, right? So I have to say, if either of those other people win immunity, they would take me to the final 2.
I've been battling this out with myself so much, and it's just crazy.
But ideally get Kalle out, because she seems to be more strategic, and I mean, her lashing out during the plea kind of shows like how ruthless she can be and how it's really just about her. Like, she's gonna like, it's gonna be her. She wants her and Meaghan, and she wants to take it herself. Like,
so the thing with Matt is that me, him, and Meaghan made an alliance before yesterday's double elimination, where we said it was gonna be us 3 in the final 3. So I haven't talked to David. I don't think Megan's talked to David. Matt could be talking to David, but as of right now, we still have our 3, and we agreed even before yesterday that when it got to 4, we would all 3 vote David. So I'm hoping that Matt sticks to that, obviously, because if not, I feel like him and David could go for me.
Just David.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think he's worried about it.
It's David.
It's David. I mean, if you 2 both vote David, it wouldn't really make, like, yeah. I can't possibly flip and it would make a difference. I'm voting David, but I see no reason not to.
Okay. And so it will be David going home.
Yeah. Here's the problem, is that they're both Kalle and Meaghan were all broken up about having to betray Kathryn and Grace. I was ecstatic about it. I had a great time. I sent you the Zoom. I was having fun. But they were not pleased. So I don't know how easily they would turn on each other, even if it would make logical sense to do so. You know what I mean?
If I can prove that I'm loyal to somebody, I think that can help me. I need Matt to not lie to us.
Do I want to win this game? That's basically it. Like, do I want to win? And if so, how am I going to get to the final two in a way that allows me to win?
And do I think Meaghan will go against me? I don't think so.
Because if it's me and Kaylee, then she wins.
Because we've talked about this, and I literally told her exactly what I just said here, that if one of us backstabs the other one now, it's just going to make us both look bad, and we would not really have a chance of winning.
If it's me and Matt, and I backstab Kaylee right now, then I'd say it's pretty even.
And our best chances of winning are going against each other. So I don't think she would. I really don't think she would.
If it's me and David, I would win. So.
If you look at it objectively, it would be easier to convince Meaghan to turn against Kaylee than it would be to get Kaylee to turn against Meaghan. However, they're relatively close. Like, it's not like it's overwhelmingly easier to turn one against the other. And it doesn't, because it's not like he's strategizing like a regular person.
Yeah.
He's not playing like anybody in like Survivor plays. He's playing in a weird way. But that's fine. It got him this far, so he can't really talk shit. He flew under the radar far enough, I think. Logically, it makes more sense to flip Meaghan, only because Kaylee was obviously more strategic than Meaghan was, from what I've gathered from talking to people. I think that if it was Kaylee and Meaghan, it would be easier to convince Meaghan that Kaylee's getting votes from final people. I'd rather lose to either of you than beat them.
Yeah.
Not than beat David. I'd like to beat David, but then being there with David. So, can I convince Kaylee that she doesn't want to be with Meaghan? Possibly. I think Kaylee would be more receptive to you don't want to be with Meaghan than Meaghan would be if you don't want to be with Kaylee, even though it makes more objective sense for Meaghan to flip against Kaylee. You know what I mean?
It makes me so mad that I'm behaving like this because when I watch Survivor, it makes me so angry when someone's like playing the game with morals instead of playing the game. Because playing the game with morals is nothing. That's not going to get you anywhere. You're not going to win if you're playing for friendship or whatever.
I'm with Matt. Hopefully Matt's with me. I mean, I can be naive in me, but at the same time, it's kind of like, hello.
Hi. So.
Okay.
This is a situation. I've been really, really thinking about this tribal council because I am unsure of whether or not it would be best for me to stay with Kaylee, because I think that if it was me and Kaylee in the final two, she would beat me. So I think that it really would be best for me to get rid of her now.
I could try talking to David, but I tried talking to him yesterday in the scrambling between the two tribals, and he told me, yep, he was voting Grace with me, and then he voted for me in the first one and in the tiebreaker, so I don't really trust him. I don't really want to talk to him. He hasn't done anything. I don't want to see him go farther than this. I don't want to take him to the final three.
And I think that on one hand, she would respect me for playing the game, but on another, we have said for a while that if either of us voted for each other, we would kill each other. We would kill each other, And I would give her full license to kill me if I did that.
Now, if Matt and David are planning something, and let's say they're planning to vote me out, which would be the most likely scenario, then it would be Meaghan and I put 2 votes on David, they put 2 votes on me. That's a tie. Meaghan and Matt re-vote. Let's assume it's a tie. Okay, if it's a tie again, then I guess David and I are immune and Meaghan would just go home. Or if Matt changes his vote to David, then David just goes home. Because I don't think Meaghan would change her vote to me and send me home.
So we don't know who has immunity yet, obviously. But I think that it would be in my best interest to try to swing somebody over because a tie leaves me vulnerable. Sort of. Not really, but
A
it
little.
can. A little.
Matt's better chance of getting Meaghan away from Kaylee, because using the fact that she will just use Meaghan. She isn't for herself. I mean, everyone is, but like she's just ruthless with it. I mean, she seems to be the biggest threat, like the more like strategic, like scheming, like the angry, hungry one.
Yeah.
You know. So I think now with us three getting her out now, it'd be easier than in next week when it's just,
Yeah. A big important question that I have to ask myself regarding what I do tonight is, if I were to get to the end and Kaylee wasn't there and she was on the jury, would she vote for me or not?
And also, I mean, I don't know if you have or not, but like you seem close, and like I'm sure I don't know if you voted every time with her, it would kind of throw her off.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't think she would see it coming if I did it.
No.
I don't think it makes sense for me to try to do something because I already made a big move. I don't need to make a big move at every single tribal. That's not necessary.
It would be.
And I think it would just benefit not even me or him, or I think it would all of us. I think all of us could benefit from her getting out.
Yeah. So I don't feel as if I have a big game, like a big move in this game. My resume is currently riding the coattails of Kaylee, and that is not going to look good in front of a jury. And the fact that I know that, if I do get to the final two with Kaylee, is not going to make my speech very convincing.
In today's challenge, contestants will compete in a slide puzzle. Whoever finishes the slide puzzle the fastest will win immunity and will not be able to receive votes at the next elimination room.
I'm here. I'm about to do my slide puzzle immunity challenge. I practiced slide puzzles for probably like a cumulative 4 hours today. I don't know if I got better at them. The first one I did was a 4x4 slide puzzle and I finished it in 17 minutes. I played many hours of slide puzzles today.
Yeah, I did. I practiced last night and a little bit today.
So it's all about the corner. So you want to find out your one, which is this piece, which is this piece. Get one in, find two. Get two in, find three, which is down here, and get three in the corner.
I think that I figured out a strategy of how to do slide puzzles, but most of the time that I've been able to do a slide puzzle well and fast has either been on my second or third try. There was one of them that I got really lucky and I feel like I just zoomed through it on my first try. It may have involved me Googling how to do slide puzzles.
I also did that.
The whole point of this strategy is to make it so that you can, you make the puzzle smaller every single time.
But, we'll see how this one goes. This could end up being a really long reaction video, which, 17 minutes. It's just...
But this is where it gets harder. Like all the time comes in the bottom for UI too, because there's no strategy for it. You just move them until they fit.
You know what? That was pretty good. I'm really proud of myself. 3 minutes! 3 minutes! Oh my god, I did so much better than I expected to. Okay. I just had to figure out, how to do it, really.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was just guessing.
Yeah.
But I figured out a strategy to win, to, do the puzzle,
Okay. Be level 8 in 1 minute and 26 seconds and 178 moves. Beautiful. I like that. I'll take that, man. I'll take that. There's my submission, Ben. Wow.
In an ideal world, what would have happened today would be either me, Kaylee, or David would have won immunity. We would have gotten rid of Matt, and then it would have been me, Kaylee, David in the final 3.
Meaghan and I really did not want Matt to win this immunity because we were kind of hoping that we could make a move against him tonight, but that obviously can't be done now.
I really think that he's clueless on this one.
Okay.
Not clueless as a human being, but on this one, I'm pretty sure he's clueless. Because I think that he lost his alliance was essentially him and Kathryn, and then by extension Grace, and then they all both went home.
I've only talked to Matt. He says he also wants Kaylee out, so if he doesn't vote for Kaylee, he's lying, and you'll all see this and know.
And he was just kind of like looking for anything. And I was like, we should go to the final together. And he's like, oh, okay, what's the plan? And I was like, well, what do you want to do? What do you think? I mean, and that's pretty much how it went. So I roped him right in and then told him where to vote. He wanted, it was between the two of you, obviously, if it was going to be us. And I said, either one who wins immunity will vote the other one. He said he preferred Kaylee. I said, that's fine.
Like, my thing is, what happens if Matt and David do vote for you, and then you and I vote for David? Then it's only me and Matt that can vote. So either someone needs to convince Matt, or someone needs to convince me.
I'm 90% sure that I will still be voting for David, and hopefully Meaghan and Matt will as well.
What happens if Matt can't be convinced and I can't be convinced? Like, what happens then?
Then me and David are immune, and so is Matt, so I guess you just are gone.
I hate that. Like, that's not... I don't like it. It's...
I hate it too. I hate it.
So then, like, there's a possibility I could just go home tonight. Like, bye.
There's literally a possibility that every one of us, except Matt, could go home tonight.
Yep.
Like,
if I did double-cross Kaylee tonight, and then I went up in front of the jury, and I said, vote for me, I did this, this, and this, and 2 of those thises were get out Grace and Kathryn in the same night, and then get out Kaylee. Then it'd be like, my whole game was blindsiding people and backstabbing them. That would... I don't know if that would play well on a jury. I don't know if it would. The only way I can imagine myself winning is if I went to the end with Matt.
exactly. Like, we're both just screwed, no matter what happened. Unless David goes home tonight, you and I are both screwed.
Yeah. So it has to be David. Like,
It has to be. It has to be.
and hopefully Matt doesn't realize how much the 2 of us would be screwed if that doesn't happen.
I think I can swing it. I think that I have decent odds at it being me and somebody else taking me.
I mean, like, from his perspective, why would he want to go to the final 3 with the 2 of us? Unless he thinks that he can just win the last challenge, and then he just chooses which one of us to go with.
Tonight for Tribal Council, in order for Kaylee to not know that she's going out, we need to pretend that it's someone else.
Yeah.
Which is going to have to be you.
I'll pretend like I've talked to nobody since Grace and Kathryn were out. I'll be like, I expect it.
Yeah.
We kind of just have to hope that Matt is staying true to us.
The vote tonight, I really have to think about what I want to do.
So even though Matt would be a bigger challenge threat in the 3 and could potentially kick out Meaghan or I to go to the final 2, I don't want David to even come close to that.
This is perfectly okay. I just need to figure out what I'm gonna do.
I am really nervous about tonight's tribal because obviously when I would just talk through all the scenarios, there's a possibility that it could be me going home. I mean, there has always been a possibility of me going home because I have never won an immunity, which sucks.
Have I figured it out already, though? What is my gut telling me to do?
Just always scheming, always coming up with some type of way to like get herself further. and the lashing out, like, like I don't have a loyalty to anyone, but like, I work with who I have. And right now my loyalty is with Matt, as of right now, this week, or this day.
Just act like you're going home, because
I'll just swing. I'll just swing.
yeah. Because otherwise, like, Kaylee, like, would be tipped off, My gut says one thing, my brain says another, and then my survivor brain says a completely other thing. But really, it's just hard having both Matt and Kaylee be as big of threats as they are.
I'm 90% sure that I will still be voting for David, and hopefully Megan and Matt will as well.
Has she reached out to you?
Yeah, we've talked about what she wanted to do tonight.
I'm sure it was me.
Yeah. Last semester, I took an intro to ethics class, and it is not helping me right now. Not even a little bit. So, it really would be better for me to get Kaylee out, so that's what's gonna happen.
I think so too.
If everything goes to plan and me, Megan, and Matt all do vote out David, yeah, I'm worried that Matt will win the last immunity, and then he has to choose between Megan and I, and I'm pretty sure he would choose Megan because she would be easier to beat.
This is fine. This better be good TV.
But I don't know yet, Ben. There's some thinking that has to be done.
I mean, like, how much do you trust Matt that he's actually going to vote David tonight?
Moderately? I don't know. It's hard because I think that if he was trying to vote you out, there's a chance he would reach out.
He told David to vote me, I feel like, if he was actually voting for me.
Yeah, he probably would have said me.
But I don't know. Because I feel like he knows that you and I are close, so I don't know if he would actually tell you the truth.
Yeah. I really wish that I had not won immunity tonight. I wish I had been Kaylee. Or me. Or David. I wish it had just been anyone else so we could have just voted out Matt, because that would have given me more time to think about this. It's just like, it hurts me so much because no matter what, at the end of this, it's either going to be one of us or both of us. And if it's only one of us, that sucks for whoever it is.
Just scared, nervous, no idea what's going to happen. But at this point, there's not much I can do. So whatever happens, happens.
But instead, it's a possibility for me to get rid of Kaylee tonight, so... Because if Matt had one immunity, I can easily write him off as a bigger threat.
But we're trying to get at least what I think the plan is, which, I mean, again, I'm not like... if I lose, I lose. If I continue, it's great.
I'm going to end the call.
All right.
We're voting David out.
Yes, we are.
And then
Yes, that's
final
the plan.
3.
And the final 3.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I'll see you guys in 2 minutes.
See ya.
This has been one of the most stressful weeks of my life.
How important was immunity, and how important is it now to use that immunity to have some leverage because there's only 4 people?
I mean, it's definitely important. It's always important, but it's not as important as it will be next time.
How much do you think you've been scrambling, and who do you think it is important to kind of get apart from each other because there's only 4 people, and now you're looking at who wants to be at the end with each other?
Plan or not everything always goes your way or the way you just anticipate it to happen. It's just kind of like about adapting and moving on. So, not saying I'm confident, I'm not confident, but that's the game.
I have run through every possible scenario of what could happen tonight, trying to make sure that I make it through to the next round. And it's been incredibly difficult to consider just the idea of voting for yourself or having someone else vote for themselves is enticing, but ultimately the risk might not be worth the reward if there is no reward, really.
I don't really think that having a survivor resume is necessarily an important thing in this, just because the 4 of us that are left have played 4 different games, and we don't know how the jury is going to react, or if the people in the jury will care about having a Survivor resume. And what a resume is in this version of Survivor could look different to every single person on the jury. So I think it's a waste of time to speculate about that kind of stuff.
I agree that you have to kind of do what you think is best for yourself in the moment, but I agree at the same time, keep in mind that the jury is voting towards the end. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword here. Do what you think is best for yourself, but don't go stomp other people down and then expect to win.
Well, I mean, there's no way to know how someone's going to react to being, blindsided or betrayed, but I would hope that they would understand the strategy behind it. If you're blindsided, then if you didn't see it coming, then that means I did what I was supposed to do, and I protected myself in the game. Because if you don't blindside anybody, eventually you're a sitting duck, right? Because the people who you trusted are gone, and you're by yourself, and things fall apart quickly.
Honestly, just trying to play a game in a way that benefits me like that is extremely hard. And I've been having a lot of difficulty with it.
If it's shady and the jury holds you to it, had it coming. But if not, maybe you'll be rewarded.
I had, the things that I've done so far, I've done to get myself through and to really just put myself where I am in the final four. And simply getting through day to day is difficult. And I've had to do things that I don't like doing, and that impacts the jury. And it's hard to try to make the decision between those two things.
I mean, I think at this point in the game, splitting from your biggest ally would just to further yourself. First of all, you're not even guaranteed to make it to the final, and if you do, that person is not going to be happy on the jury. So I think, like we were talking about earlier, when you have to consider how the jury is going to think about it, I mean, this late in the game, if you're making that kind of move, it probably would not work out well in the end. I don't know that it would necessarily be worth it.
I just want to add on, though, with the whole risking your main alliance, if you two become the final two, either they're coming in first or you're coming in first. So it's either, if you're okay with settling for second place, then sure. But if not, I mean, if you were an alliance, you'd maybe help that person win.
I've thought about all of that, and really it is a decision between, do I want to sit in the final two with a friend or with someone that I could beat?
I'm voting for David tonight because I'm not voting out Meaghan. She's my strongest ally. I've worked with Matt. I'm trusting him tonight to not blindside me. And he convinced me. I was worried all day that he was lying to me. But just recently, we all talked as a group, and I really trust him. So I'm voting for David. It will hopefully be 3 votes for David, 1 vote for me tonight.
I actually put way more thought into this than is necessarily required. So I'm going to vote David because the plan was that me, Kalle, and Meaghan vote David. And I think that if David catches on to that plan and votes for himself, and all 4 of us vote David, then I can get away with being with David and one of the girls and having one of them have to be voted out, right? So could I do some crazy stuff and get one of the girls out right now? Yes. But would that benefit me in the final 3? No, because then whoever doesn't get voted out is going to be mad at me. And I don't need them to be mad at me. I need them to want to take me to the finals. So as much as I want to pull some crazy shit, Ben, and pass immunity to people and do some wild shit, I'm going to stick with David and see what happens. We're going to play the numbers, Ben.
I'm voting for David because I think I know who I want to be sitting next to at the end. It comes to a point where I have to decide if it were to be me, David, and Matt tomorrow, if either of them won immunity, they wouldn't take me to the end.
I'm just sticking with my guns here. I mean, it might come back to bite me, but I'm going to say Kalle. It was between myself or Kalle. It makes sense for all 3 of us. It makes it easier for all 3 of us, or even the 2 of them. I'm not in it. I mean, I'm in for my. I want to win, but if I can't, you know, at least I can help someone else up.
By a vote of 3-1, David, you have been eliminated from the game. You may leave the Zoom call. So we're down to the final three. Congratulations, Kalle, Matt, and Meaghan.
You know, kind of being like the sacrifice. You know, shift the momentum towards Kalle, if anything, next. Take her out. And then, if anything, bring it down to Meaghan and Matt. I'm putting my trust in them. And if not, I'll be on the jury and I'll remember it.